These are some more problems just to kind of see how we do things. So we have 9 o'clock in the morning, two fisher boats that are 121 kilometers apart. They start heading towards each other. This is motion in the same direction. One's rate is this, the other one's rate is this, and they want to know at what time of day. So that's a time question, number of hours. Well, if I sort of draw a boat in some water, and then another boat in some water, and we mentioned before that the distance can be represented as a rate times a time, and this one can be a rate times a time, and my total distance between the two of them is 121 kilometers. So what time of day? Well, let's just let t equal the number of hours the boats travel, because they actually do leave at the same time. They leave at 9 o'clock and they encounter each other whenever they hit. So t equal the number of hours the boats travel. So the first one would just be a simple 8t, and the second one would be a 14t. And if I go 8t plus 14t, that would be equal to 121 for the 121 kilometers. Add these up and I have 22t is equal to 121. If I divide through, I get t is equal to 121 over 22, which is equal to 11 over 2, or 5.5. So at what time of day will they meet? Well, they left at 9 o'clock, and 5.5 hours after 9 o'clock is 2:30 in the afternoon. So they meet at 2:30 p.m. Number 2, we got Sawyer leaving in the sailboat headed north at 24 kilometers per hour, and then Helen left the harbor in a motorboat and headed in the same direction. So let's call this one Sawyer. Let's call this one Helen. And I don't know how far they are, but that doesn't matter. It just wants how long. So let's let t be equal to the, well, let's do number of hours Helen travels. So if t is the number of hours that Helen travels, then t plus time, because Sawyer left earlier, so he travels more time. T plus, now it wouldn't be 20, it would be 1/3, because 20 minutes should be 1/3 of an hour. Number of hours Sawyer travels. So Sawyer is t plus 1/3, and Helen is just t. And Sawyer goes for 24 kilometers per hour, and Helen goes for 30 kilometers per hour. And those two are going to be set equal. Motion in the same direction means we have the same distance. And I have 24t plus 8 is equal to 30t. Negative 6t is equal to negative 8. And t is equal to 4/3, or 1 1/3 hour. So how long before she meets Sawyer? She meets Sawyer. She meets Sawyer in 1 hour and 20 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, next we have clover honey priced at $4.75 per kilogram, blended with orange blossom honey at $6.25 per kilogram, and the resulting mix sells for $5.05 per kilogram. How much of each kind of honey? Well, how much would be number of kilograms. So I'm going to say let C equal the number of kilograms of clover honey. And like before, we have a total here, so this is going to be total minus the part. 24 minus C would be the number of kilograms of orange blossom honey. So the price of the clover honey is $4.75. The price of the orange blossom honey is $6.25, and the price of the whole thing is $5.05, and then times the 24 kilograms for the mixture, and then we have a price of the whole thing. Looks like, well, you know, I'm not a fan of all these decimals, so we're just going to multiply through by 100. And 505 times 24. Now, up until this point, I've hesitated to use calculators on this. We'll see how far I can go before I just cave in. 625 times 24. There I go. I'm going to cave in. 625 times 24, 15,000. So returning here, we've got 15,000 minus 625C is equal to, and then we're going to do 505 times, that was 24. Sorry, coming back here. 12120. So this would be negative 150C is equal to, and we'll just do this minus 15,000, negative 2880, and then divide by 150 for 19.2. So what this is telling us is, let's see, how much of each kind of honey? We need 19.2 kilograms of clover, and that would be 4.8 kilograms of orange blossom. Finally, we have another investment one. We're going to split this into two different accounts, and let's let X equal the amount invested at 10%, and then we have 35,000 minus X is the amount invested at 8%. So again, we took the total that we invested and we split it, and this is kind of an important little split we made here. We did that in the previous problem too. So then I'm just going to take each amount and multiply it by its respective interest rate. 10% times X plus 8% times 35,000 minus X, and we're going to set that equal to the amount of interest it gives us, $3,100. So let's keep this with decimals for the time being. Since I have the calculator out, might as well use it. Times 0.08, 2800 minus 0.08x and 3100. So this is 0.02x is equal to 300, and that would mean x is equal to, this would be 30,000 divided by 2, or 15,000. And she invested 15,000 at 10%, and that would be 20,000 at 8%.